Well,
Yes, sir.
the fact that you are here now joining this online class means that you have already accepted the challenge to be a university student. This is tertiary education. You've already gone through two earlier stages of education, the primary school, primary education, where you had to struggle for 6 standards, and then you passed through secondary education. And now this is the third stage of education, which is tertiary education. Tertiary education or university education. The whole life actually is a journey of learning and education. So even after you graduate in 2 years' time with a diploma in hand, this is not going to be the end of your education path or journey. You'll find on the contrary that you are actually starting anew. From the beginning, you're starting a new path towards learning and scholarship, the pursuit of learning and scholarship. It's an ongoing journey that begins at the moment of birth, following that anguished cry at birth, when you're being born, and it culminates, it ends, if you like, at the moment of death, at the cradle of death, at the twilight of life, your life, the twilight. The twilight time of the day is when the sun sets in the evening. This period, just before sundown, nightfall, we call it twilight. Are you familiar with the word twilight? Maybe I can write it on the board. Twilight. It's a noun. Can you see it? Can you see the word twilight?
No, we cannot
No,
see.
not really. I think
Yes,
you should lift up the camera.
I just need to adjust the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
But
perfect.
Let's go.
can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, let's take this guy. How do I pronounce his name? Al-Zakari, maybe?
Al-Zakri, yes, doctor.
Al-Zakari. Okay, Al-Zakari, can you spell the word for me?
Twilight, twilight.
Twilight. So you've got it.
Yeah.
So I was saying that learning actually is a lifetime project, a lifetime journey, a lifelong journey. It's not restricted to primary schooling or secondary schooling education or tertiary education. And when we talk about tertiary education, we talk about diplomas, we talk about degrees, we talk about masters and PhDs and postdoctorates. After the doctorate comes a postdoctorate, and this is not also the end of when you have a PhD, you're going to start a new journey. So reading more, writing more, engaging more in these communicative activities of reading and writing, of seeking knowledge, It's a lifetime pursuit. Seeking knowledge. Actually, the reason why we have been created, the reason why man, the human being, has been created is to know. By the way, is to know. To know whom? To know God, to know the Creator, and sustainer of this world and worship him. So the purpose of our creation is to know and worship. As a result of this knowledge, worship the right creator, the only creator and sustainer of this world. There's only one creator. Cannot be more than one God. There's only one God, the Almighty, whose proper noun is Allah, meaning the God, the one God. So the purpose of our creation is actually, we have been created so that we can know through reading and knowledge, and then as a result of this knowledge, know the one God, true God, the truth, and stick to it. For in this comes success here, happiness here, peace and contentment of heart, and salvation and success in the afterlife. There is an afterlife, whether you believe in the presence of afterlife or not. The truth is that there is an afterlife where everyone is going to be accounted for what he or she did in this life. So life is just a journey. There was a previous journey when you were in your mom's womb as an embryo, as a fetus. Actually, a human being, all of us, every human being goes through 4 journeys or stages of life, or abodes, homes, if you like, abode. Like 4 types of existence or abodes. Abode. The first one is that of the womb. When you are in your mother's womb. So the first abode for the human being after coming out of nothing by the will of God, the first abode for you, the first station or destination, not the ultimate, the first, there are 3 more, is your mom's womb. A journey, you stay for 9 months, a bit more, less more, and then the end of the first stage. Then comes this stage in which you and me are now living. This is the second abode or the second station in this journey. The second station. It's a station. Whether you take life as everything or whether you think of it as only a station, like a traveler, Prophet Muhammad said, the last of messengers to humanity, to guide the humanity to the one God, said that this life is liken this life as a traveler passing by and resting under a tree for some time. Imagine going to another state here in Malaysia, and at a certain gas station or depot, you're just going to rest for a while, go to a toilet, rest, have a drink, and then continue your journey. That's life. It is not the ultimate destination. It is only a stage. And the previous stage reminds us of the fact that it is only a stage. You stayed in your mom's womb for 9 months. And then you were given this gift of life, the second abode. How long you're going to live, no one knows. This is part of the unseen. Only God, the true God again, the only God, the creator. If there were more than God, they would have fought each other. And you would have seen, fights in the sky every day. Imagine 2 bosses or 2 managers, ruling the same or managing the same company. They will have fights. This one wants to manage it this way, and the other one wants to manage it the other way. So they cannot. Similarly, if there were more than one God, you would have seen, a lot of chaos in this highly organized world, the universe. One day, one God would say, okay, the sun for me would rise from the east. The other say, no, I want it to rise from the west. They would fight. Anyhow, so this is the second stage. It might be 60 years, 70 years, more or less. Again, Prophet Muhammad, who was sent to every one of us, regardless of our current beliefs that we have acquired that we have inherited from our ancestors, fathers and forefathers, regardless of these beliefs, he said that the range of this life is approximately 60 to 70 years. Most people actually live 60 to 70 years if you exceed that. If you look at people who die around you, you'll find that most of them actually die before 70. But if you may exceed that, 80, 90, more or less. Death is not the end. Death is the beginning of the third stage or abode. Death signals the end of this abode or station and the beginning of the third station. But before we talk briefly about the third station, it's important to know, we have been created after all to know. What has brought all this discussion is the pursuit of knowledge. Because if you do not try to know the truth and follow it, if you don't try to read and educate yourself and become, sophisticated, knowledgeable, you'll be a loser here and in the other two abodes to come. That's why, by the way, and this is highly significant, highly symbolic, and I will touch upon this in another class one day in a video, and today briefly in the rest of the class. By the way, the first word in the Quran, the first word in this final revelation to guide the human beings, and not only human beings, also the jinn, the other beings, the invisible beings. There are two worlds, two types of creations that have, intellect or mind, and so responsible. The human beings, and the other being, we cannot see them. They see us, but we cannot see them. They are also, they're also supposed to follow the same, truth. Where was I? So the first word in this final book or guidance to humanity, the first word that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad 1,500 years ago was read. Was read. If you take a copy of the Quran, the first word that was brought down upon the heart of the final prophet and messenger to humanity was read. Gabriel, the angel responsible for conveying revelation or God's messages to humanity, the first word he said or uttered to Muhammad when he was in that cave, contemplating, meditating at the age of 40, the first word was read. He told him, read. Iqra, the Arabic version. Read in the name of thy Lord, who taught you, who has created. Read in the name of thy Lord, who has created. God is asking us to make use of our intellect to read his signs in the world, in this universe. Because only by reading his signs that you believe that there is an almighty God behind this beautiful universe, regular universe. Only by using your intellect and reading these signs that you can find patterns, wisdom, and a designer behind this highly organized, highly structured universe. And so those who say that there is no, for example, God, like atheists, who say that this world has come out of nothing, are the most foolish kind of people. Because they have decided not to make use of their mind. So the first word was read. There is no excuse for people actually on the day of judgment to say, well, I didn't know that you existed, God, or that you were the right God, the only God. I was born in a family, maybe a Buddhist family or a Hindu family or whatever family, and I found my fathers doing that, I did that. But I have no evidence that what they were doing or I was doing right. You have no such excuses because you were given first the ability, the intellect, the ability to reason and find out on your own. After the age of 16, 17, you become responsible. At school time, you're still a child. So if you die as a child, before reaching the age of a puberty where you can make use of, where you can discern or distinguish between right and wrong, God will not punish you. But once you reach a certain age, you are now responsible. You know what harms you and what benefits you. So you're supposed to read. And this is a reading class. So this introduction is not irrelevant, by the way. You're supposed to read and know the truth. That there cannot be more than one truth. Truth cannot be divided. It is indivisible. There cannot be more than way. There's only one way, one God, one humanity, many messengers. One God, one humanity, one message, worship none but God, many messengers. Throughout time, there were messengers in every village, in every town, in every country, in every place, since the beginning of the creation. Adam, he was the first prophet and messenger. So we have only one God, one message, which is worship none but God, not other beings we have created under the influence of Satan and followed from our forefathers without reading and knowing the truth. Many messengers. Success of the third life, which begins immediately at the moment of death, even before you die. At that moment when you are dying, the third stage begins, or abode begins. Because at that moment when you are dying, when your soul, spirit is about to be disrupted or taken out by the angels of death from your body, at that moment you will see actually whether your third and consequently fourth stage be successful or unsuccessful. Meaning this life, this stage now, is extremely important because success of the other two coming stages, the third and the fourth abode, will depend on this stage. Not the previous stage, the fetal stage, when you were a fetus, a baby in the womb of your mom. No. Heaven and hell, in other words, are made here, now. And that's why if you waste this life and you do not read and know the truth and follow the truth, you're going to be a loser and you're going to suffer for eternity. You cannot, as I said, say, well, I've just followed what my father said. At this age, you are not excused, because as I said, you have the power to read. You are not an animal. Animals will not be punished or rewarded, but you will be, because you have been created with the free will to choose. It's up to you in this life. If God wanted us to follow what He wanted, we would have followed what He wanted, but He has given us a choice. There are actually other creatures that have no choice, like angels. Angels, whether you believe in angels or not, again, everything you believe, you will know the result of it when you die. Because that is not the end. It's the beginning of a third stage. So angels actually have no choice. They have no free will to disobey God. They are programmed to obey God. Angels only obey God, obey Allah. They are not capable of sinning or going astray. They have no choice. They have no choice. Genetically, they are programmed to worship God. But we human beings are a different being, a different creation. We have the freedom, we have the free will to make a choice. But we are accountable for this choice. Accountable for this choice. Accountable based on reason, your mind, ability to think and sort out the good from the bad, the right belief from the wrong belief. And also, but God is so merciful, so compassionate, so kind. He did not also leave us alone, though He gave us the power to know what is right or wrong, and the signs in this world, in this universe, to which He has drawn our attention from the first verse. As I said in the Quran, read in the name of thy Lord, read the signs of His creation. But despite that, He also sent us messengers and guidance throughout history, beginning from Adam, ending with Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, Solomon, David. There are 25 examples of these prophets mentioned in the Quran. But God sent more than 123,000 prophets and messengers throughout time. The final one was Muhammad, no one after him. And his miracle was the Quran. And the Quran is a book. Read. And the Quran is available. You cannot say, I did not know that it's available. You can get a copy. Okay, look for the translation if you're not, because it was revealed in Arabic. Language of the people of heaven will be Arabic. So you can get a copy, Tamil, Malay, English, Mandarin, and read. After all, I'm not asking you I'm just asking you to read. God is asking you to read. And when you read the Quran, if you read the Quran with an open heart, you will see the truth. Forget for a while about your beliefs, current beliefs, if you are not a believer in the Quran at this stage. Forget about what you inherited from your parents. Put them aside and read the Quran with an open heart, objectively. And you will see. You will see. Seek knowledge. And the ultimate knowledge is the truth. The ultimate knowledge is the truth. Why you are here, why you have been created, where am I going to go? Find clear answers to the big questions of life. Why was I born? Where am I going after death? Seek clear answers from the only source that can provide you with answers. Well, look at all, no problem. As part of your reading and knowledge, you can look at Buddhist scriptures, Hindu scriptures, Christian scriptures, whatever scripture, read, fine. Until you find the truth and then stick to it. But make sure that what you believe in is the truth, since there is only one truth and cannot be divided. At this stage, some of you might not know the truth or think that they know the truth. Investigate, read, seek knowledge, pursue knowledge. The third stage, what about? Are you with me? I want to hear yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, we're
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
bro.
Yes,
Right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
The, the third abode or home for the human being after death is the abode of the grave, life of the grave. When we are buried down, we were created from earth, by the way. We were created from earth and we're going down to earth. Before being resurrected, being brought back again to the fourth abode, the final destination, heaven or hell. This universe is not a joke, and we have not been created for play, for jest, for fun, though you can lead a righteous and happy life. There is no contradiction once you know the truth. You can be happy here. But unlike some might think, life is not created just for fun. Because as I said, we are responsible. Responsibility brings accountability. Accountability. Either reward or punishment. So the third stage or abode is that of the grave. As I said, before you die, at that moment, at the throes of death, when you are dying, you will be able to see, because now we cannot see many of the things that are around. But at that moment, God will like remove a veil of your eyes and you will see things, you will see the truth. You will see the angels of death, for example. If you followed the right path, if you followed what Muhammad has brought, the Quran, you'll see beautiful angels wearing white, and they will actually take your soul gently, and they will, give you good news. If you are not from those who follow the truth or the right path, you will have different sorts of angels, black, terrifying, and they will exert or take out your soul with a lot of pain, and they will give you bad news that you're going to be, a companion of the hellfire. Now you die, your soul gets out of your body, your family takes you, they bury you. Once they bury you, your soul comes back to you. Because you're going to start the third life now. Life is not an end. Life is just a transition. Just like you were in your mom's womb. It's a transition, a new life with the new laws. You cannot judge that life with the laws of this life. For example, regardless of when someone died, even 1,000 years ago, for the believer, this period will be very short. Actually, like only the period between Dhuhr and Asr, like about 2 hours and a half. Even if you might have died, 2,000 years ago. Different laws. God is capable of it, a different world, governed with different laws. So it will not seem to the believer like very long. Someone died 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 5 days ago. It will be short. Though for us, it looks long. I don't want to go into what happens in the grave. You can seek knowledge on your own. I mean, part of the purpose of this discussion now is actually to stimulate your interest in reading. This is a reading course, and I want you to understand that reading is not just something that we do in a course or even for the pursuit of a degree, and that's it. Reading is a way of life. Reading should be, you know, a way of life. Reading every day. So I don't want to go into what happens in the third life and the fourth life. After the grave will be, as I said, people will be resurrected on a certain day, known as the Day of Judgment. It's fixed, planned. Just like your birth and death, these days are fixed by God. They're not haphazard. They're not just like that. Even if you die by a disease, the disease is only a cause. Even if you die by an accident, the accident is only a cause. But you were meant to die at that moment. You were meant to be born at that moment. No one can be born a second before or after that planned fixed date, and no one can leave this life a second earlier and a second after. And this, by the way, gives the believer some kind of peace. It means that no one can kill me. I cannot die unless, because when you die, regardless of the reason, this means that you were meant to die at that moment. Not because someone is strong and someone is a bully and someone, no. You are actually meant to die at that. So you live at peace. You know that you're not going to leave this world because someone hates you and he might intimidate you. When you leave this world, you leave it because you were meant to leave at that second. At that second. And then resurrection, the fourth life, after the third abode, comes the final destination where people, all people, and beginning from the first one, Adam, until the last one, all of us, including you and me, by the way, and you will remember what I'm saying, because whatever you hear or read is stored in your mind. All the experiences you go throughout in your life are copied actually, because God makes a copy of everything you see or go through or listen or say. Everything is copied or replicated, because on the day of judgment you will read whatever you have done or seen on your own. You will be given actually a record. You will be given a record. You're going to read it on your own. On that day, I stole my friend's pen. On that day, I read a few pages. On that minute, I sent an email to one of my friends. At that minute or on that day, I did this and that. Everything will be written from the beginning of your life until the end. By the beginning, I mean of your life, the moment you have become an adult. Like in your case, it's now beginning with your age now. Everything will be, you'll get a copy of everything you did, you experienced, through seeing, through listening, through speaking. So you'll have no excuse. You cannot lie on that day, because as I said, God has made a copy of everything you had gone through. It's your work, your deeds. So whatever you do here, you will reap its either benefits or consequences in the fourth, actually beginning from the third life. Because if you were a believer, followed the truth, your life in the grave will be a happy life. You will be shown a window like these windows I am seeing now in front of me, a window to heaven. And you will be given good news that this is your place in heaven. So you'll be eager, actually, excited to go. You'll be eager that this life of the grave end as soon as possible so that you can go to heaven and enjoy for eternity, living in heaven. But if you were from the other group, two groups, by the way, no third option, either heaven or hell. The other group, you will be shown a small window in your grave to hellfire. And you will be told that this is your place in hellfire. once this life, the third life ends, this is going to be your place for eternity. So you will begin to suffer actually in the grave when you know that you're going to burn in hell. And you will enjoy life in the grave if you're shown that your place is in heaven. The fourth life begins after all people die. And one day when this world comes to an end, as planned by God, again, there is a term for it, a fixed term. Whoever will be alive at that moment will die. So before the day of judgment, everyone will be dead. Everyone. And by the way, this is going to be applicable to animals, to angels, even the angel of death himself. The angel responsible for taking your soul, he will die. Because God will ask him, who has been left? He will say, okay, this angel and that angel has been left. He will order him to take their souls. At the end, who's being left? Only you and me, God. So God at that moment will ask him to take his own soul or his spirit. So God will be alone. La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. He will be alone, supreme, mighty. Where are? He will call. Where are those who pretended to be gods? Where are those who associated themselves with me? Where are they? Where are they? Everyone is dead. No one will respond. And then he will start life anew. Allah will instruct that all the dead, beginning from Adam until the last one, be brought back to life. Everyone will be brought back to life from the graves like mushroom. The one who created you in the first hand, in the first incidence, is capable of creating or recreating you again. It's easier actually for him, if I may say that. Because if there was any difficulty, the difficulty would be the first creation, the first time. But for God, nothing is difficult or impossible. It's only a matter of be and it is. Be and it is. So, for some, what I am saying is totally new. Okay, this is your beginning to search, to read, to know. All I am telling you is to read at this stage. I'm not asking you to become a Muslim at this stage if you are not. And there is no compulsion. You can die holding whatever beliefs you have, because we have been given the freedom to choose, as I said. But we are accountable for what we believe in now. So I'm just asking you to read, and that this life is a journey of knowledge. We have been created to know, and as a result, worship the right God. I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I feel like everything is being destined. Everything is, I feel like it's God who created you and me, who made me, go into this, so that this might be an eye-opener to some of you who may want to decide to search for the truth, to read. Don't just take what your father and mother and grandfather, don't take what you inherited from your parents for granted. Question your beliefs. It's your life at the end, and it's, as I said, you cannot say on that day when we stand in front of God, the only God, you cannot say because, well, I just followed my parents. What about if your parents were wrong? So put your beliefs aside and go on a journey of search for the truth. Who knows, you might save yourself and save your parents later on. After all, there are many people who were non-Muslims and then have become Muslims. Look at the statistics. Go to the internet. Look for converts. People who were born as non-Muslims and who have, at a certain stage in their life, become Muslims. Europeans. Look at Westerners. There are people, by the way, who become Muslims every day, despite the heated campaign against Islam and Muslims, tarnishing the image of Islam and Muslims. Read the Quran. Take a copy of the Quran and read. No gun is being pointed at you, no force, no compulsion. Just read. After all, this was God's first instruction, first injunction, first command to his final prophet. Read. Iqra. And we should follow him. So, it's you. It's you and for you. When we die, when we come to that moment, there is no way back. You cannot say, you will say, by the way, if you are a non-Muslim, you will say, oh God, give me that chance to go back and I will follow you. I will become a true Muslim. By the way, it doesn't mean that the word Muslim is not a passport. If someone is born a Muslim, but he or she does not believe and act the way a true Muslim should believe and act, it won't mean anything, by the way. So being born a Muslim does not mean that this is a ticket to heaven. While you are lucky, if you were born in a Muslim family, you are lucky. Certainly, this is the biggest blessing of God upon you. Because you don't have to dig deeper now. You already have a truth. You just need to follow. You already see the benefits of the truth, the light. But you need to follow. But if you don't follow, then this is not a guarantee or a ticket to heaven. So now about true Muslim. And by the way, the word Islam means in Arabic peace. Salam, peace. Peace acquired through submission to God. Alhamdulillah. Literally, the word Islam means peace acquired through submission to God, the only God. So it's a kind of peace you feel in your heart, unfelt by non-Muslims. Unfelt, cannot be felt. Actually, I feel sorry for them. But they might not see what I see because they do not have the knowledge I have. So please, just read. Just read. Allah is kind. Allah is merciful. God is compassionate. He has not created us to punish us, by the way. He has not left us alone to either swim or sink. No. He has created us. And He loves us. He gave us the mind. He sent prophets and messengers to help guide us. He has not left us alone. Though the mind could have been sufficient. But He has not just given us the mind. Give us the mind and also books, revelations, guidance, The last of which is the Quran. Those who followed what their prophet said are successful. Those who went against their prophets and did not believe in their messages are losers. So please think about this class. As I said, nothing of what I have said was really planned. Embark on a journey of reading, pursuit of knowledge, question your beliefs if you are not a Muslim yet. And as I said, Islam means peace, acquire this through submitting your will to God, to the God. There will be nothing in the, I'm not going to examine you about this. I may not talk about this in later classes, so no worries. It's some thoughts, open eye, you're still young, but you never know when you're gonna die. Yes, 60 to 70, most people, but some die younger than that. And when someone dies, I said it is not just accidental. We say that he died by accident. Fine, but the accident is only a cause, because God has, made a cause for things. Like if this marker is to be placed down, I have to place it down. But when I put it down, God knows that at that moment, Dr. Aladdin would carry the marker and put it somewhere. He knows that in advance. Because when he was there was nothing at the beginning. Only he. Only he. There was a beginning to this universe. This universe came. There was a beginning. There was one day at a certain point, there was no sun, no cosmos, no universe. Only God. Then he created this world, created us, and asked us to read and know him. I hope that you've enjoyed this unplanned part of my lecture today, and I seriously hope, or sincerely hope, that, as I said, those who were born in families that are non-Muslim would just read. Take a copy of the Quran and read. I'm not asking you to fight or to make any trouble. No. Read, because you are now in a position, you are responsible enough. Make the right choice. Heaven and hell are made here. There's only one path to the truth, not more than one path, because the truth is one. The truth is one, and so there is only one way to it. We cannot say that Hinduism, that Christianity, that agnosticism, that this and this are ways to that. No, one truth, one way to it. You cannot, come to the truth from falsehood. By the way, the opposite of a truth has many routes and ways. There are many ways, roads to falsehood, but the truth has only one way, one path. Look for that path. Look for that path. Look for that path. Okay, guys. Before we move on, I would like to take a 5-minute break and then come back to you. All right? So if you wish now to have a drink or rest for a few minutes, you can do so. I want to make a drink. I have a little kitchenette here. I want to make a drink and then get back to you. All right, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.